Welcome to the video. Today, we'll dive into the basics of CSS, or Cascading Style Sheets. CSS is the language we use to style and design web pages. It allows us to control the layout, colors, fonts, and much more. So, if HTML is the structure or skeleton of a web page, CSS is what makes it visually appealing. Now, let's talk about how CSS works. CSS consists of selectors, properties, and values. For example, let's say we have a simple paragraph in HTML. The CSS rule for changing its text color looks like this. Here's what's happening. P is the selector. It tells the browser which HTML elements we want to style. In this case, we're selecting all P tag elements. Inside the curly braces, we define one or more properties. Here, color is a property. The value for that property is blue. So in simple terms, this rule tells the browser to make all paragraph text blue. Now, there are three main ways to apply CSS to an HTML document. 1. Inline CSS. You can add styles directly to an HTML element using the style attribute, like this. But this method is not recommended for large websites because it's difficult to manage. 2. Internal CSS. This is when you add CSS inside the style tag in your HTML's head section. Here's an example. 3. External CSS. This is the most common and efficient method. You create a separate CSS file, link it to your HTML file, and control all your styles from there. Like this. In the styles.css file, you can have all your CSS rules. Now that we understand how to use CSS, let's look at some basic properties. Color controls text color. For example, color red. Background color sets the background color of an element. For example, background color yellow. Font size adjusts the size of the text. For example, font size 16 pixels. Margin and padding. These control the space around elements. Margin adds space outside the element, while padding adds space inside. Here's a quick example combining all these. This will give your paragraph white text, a black background, larger font size, and some space inside the element. Before we wrap up, it's essential to understand the CSS box model. Every element on a web page is essentially a box. The box model includes content, the actual content of the box, like text or an image. Padding, space between the content and the border. Border, the edge of the box. Margin, space outside the border. By adjusting these properties, you can control how much space your elements take up and how they're positioned. And that's a quick overview of basic CSS. We've covered what CSS is, how it works, and some foundational properties that you can start experimenting with. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe for more web development tutorials. And as always, feel free to drop any questions in the comments section below.